Our recap begins with a guy hugging a lady, but before he can react, she suddenly drags him underwater. He wakes up in the psychiatric ward. The doctor greets him, saying it's been a long time. She asks how university is going. No response. She offers to continue their sessions from where they left off. He grabs a piece of paper and writes that since it's raining, they'll have to communicate this way. He even apologizes, as if it's his fault the weather has mood swings. The doctor just smiles, saying they used to do this before. She asks about the friend he once mentioned. He writes that he can tell her, though she won't believe him. His first friend was a mermaid. In a flashback, he's playing with his friends. Someone brings up Hye-seong's tragic fate. Apparently, he's been eliminated from their game. Too bad for him. The fun continues. An older kid announces they'll be diving soon. Hye-seong reassures them he'll be fine. He runs into a cave and hears a sound. Maybe he misheard? No, definitely not. Someone's there, a child's voice. He hesitates. Should he go tell the adults? Then he remembers his dad's death. Never mind, he'll check it out himself. He moves closer and finds a crying child. He asks if she's okay, but the moment she sees him, she falls back into the water. He watches, waiting. She finally wakes up. He greets her casually, like she didn't just pass out in front of him. Noticing she looked cold, he lent her his shirt, because apparently chivalry isn't dead. Still, there's a more pressing question. Is she really a mermaid? She nods. Hye-seong is taken aback when she speaks to him, and he quickly assures her that her secret is safe with him. He's surprised she can talk, but he's not complaining. It's not every day you meet a mysterious, beautiful girl on a deserted island. He suggests they become friends, and his eyes light up with excitement. He's clearly thrilled to have some company, and she seems intrigued by his friendly demeanor. He gently teases her about crying earlier, making her smile. It's clear he's trying to put her at ease, and it's working. When he asks for her name, she reveals she doesn't have one. He offers her a name inspired by the cave where they met, explaining that it means sunshine and sea. A pretty fitting name for a mermaid. As they shake hands, he explains the custom, and her eyes sparkle with curiosity. The doctor asks him if she didn't scare him, and he reflects on their time together on the island. He recalls how her presence became the highlight of his days, and their adventures together are etched in his memory. He complains about the salty mermaid food, and she playfully teases him, saying human food is sweet and tasty. He confesses his desire to be a mermaid, and she asks why he's scared of water. He opens up about his father's accident and his own fear of drowning. She offers reassurance, and he musters up the courage to walk into the river. As he starts to feel anxious, she grabs his hand and he feels a sense of calm wash over him. With her support, he faces his fear and starts swimming. He's not exactly the next Michael Phelps, but he's trying. She cheers him on, and he grins from ear to ear. It's clear he's having the time of his life. He asks if she'll always be there to save him, and she smiles, saying she'll always be there to catch him. It's a sweet moment, and his heart skips a beat. He's clearly smitten with his new mermaid friend. He's excited to see what other adventures await them. Yoon-hae shares with Hye-seong that she also lost her dad, but she's okay because she has him now. He smiles, feeling a deep connection to her, and admits that having her by his side makes him feel less sad too. He thinks to himself that they have a lot in common. In the doctor's office, the doctor asks Hye-seong if that's when his mother got hurt. He nods, writing yes on a piece of paper. He recalls how he and his sister were sent to their uncle's house in Seoul, where he struggled to adjust. His uncle's strict rules and harsh words made him feel unwelcome. In a flashback, Hye-seong calls out to Yoon-hae, saying it might be their last time seeing each other. She refuses to say goodbye, and he understands why. There's no sea in Seoul. His uncle interrupts, warning him about a sliding rock, and Hye-seong says a heartfelt goodbye to Yoon-hae. He hands her a toy submarine, symbolizing their special bond, and promises to always be her best friend. 6 years have passed since Hye-seong left Yoon-hae, and he's now in his 3rd year of middle school. He wonders why he can't seem to forget about her. While washing his hands, someone grabs his hand. He's startled, but the person tells him to hold her hands. Shocked to see Yoon-hae standing in front of him. She smiles, saying she missed him. Hye-seong asks Yoon-hae how she got there, but she just says she came because she missed him. He's confused, wondering if she used to say things like that before. He asks if she'll be able to meet him anywhere, and she says yes. As they stand in the bathroom, Yoon-hae touches Hye-seong's face, asking where he is. He's startled, thinking she left, but she's still there. Someone knocks on the door, threatening to beat Hye-seong up if he doesn't come out in 5 seconds. Hye-seong tells Yoon-hae to meet him tomorrow, and she leaves. He walks outside, apologizing to the person who knocked on the door, but she slaps him instead. His sister asks if he's all right, and he says yes. She wishes their aunt would disappear, but Hye-seong advises her to bear it a little longer. He feels grateful for the unexpected turn of events, realizing that the days he longed for have finally come to him. At the teacher's office, the teacher expresses concern about Hye-seong's well-being, but Hye-seong reassures him that he's doing okay. The teacher shares that he also lost his dad at a young age, but Hye-seong doesn't seem too interested. He's more worried about why the teacher is being so concerned. Does he look that discouraged? Hye-seong's friends suggest going to the cafeteria or playing outside, but one of them mentions a soccer bet between classes, and Kwon Sunbin teases that the other class isn't even good at soccer. 2 girls approach them, and one greets Kwon Sunbin, while the other asks Hye-seong if he's the Hye-seong she's heard so much about. She claims to be a top student and says she's heard great things about him. Hye-seong is surprised, asking if that's true, and she invites him to join them at a VIP event on April 28th. Hye-seong points out that it's during midterms, and she's taken aback by his concern about studying. Kwon Sunbin chimes in that it's actually on the day of their physical education and music exam, and Hye-seong's friends tease him about being ranked number 2. Hye-seong politely declines the invitation, thanking her for the offer. As they walk away, Eun-sol says he's so nice he would really go well with her. She replies that she should change the plans to 29th. She asks what, they have told everyone already. She replies that she wants to go with him. She says she should leave it. People think Hye-seong is mature, but he's just trying to make his mom proud. In a flashback, his uncle invited him to live with him, but his wife was furious, revealing her husband's infidelity. His uncle tried to reason with her, but she was unmoved, leaving Hye-seong feeling unwelcome. To make matters worse, his aunt was cruel, scolding him and his sister for making noise while eating. When his sister cried, his aunt beat her, leaving Hye-seong feeling helpless and on the verge of losing his mind. He wondered if he should just leave everything behind and follow his dad. But then he thought of Yoon-hae, who stayed by his side every night, and talking to him and easing his pain. He thanks her, and she asks what for. He explains that his life was miserable without her, and he wished every day for her to come find him. Yoon-hae reveals that if he hadn't come to the cave that day, she wouldn't be who she is now. Hye-seong asks how long it's been, and Yoon-hae asks if his aunt's cruelty was the reason for his misery. He says she wasn't the only reason, but she was the main one. Hye-seong vows to leave the house when he becomes an adult, so he can spend more time with Yoon-hae. She asks if he'll be happier without his aunt around. Hye-seong thinks he'll be happier without his aunt around, and Yoon-hae understands. Hye-seong calls out to his sister, Gum Hye-bin, asking if she wants her chicken half-fried or fully fried. She chooses half-fried, and he tells her to put down her phone. Jum Hye-bin mentions that their aunt hasn't come home in a while and asks if she's okay. Hye-seong shrugs it off, saying she's probably out drinking somewhere. He thinks to himself that he has his suspicions about his aunt's whereabouts. Later that night, he hears noise coming from outside, but it suddenly stops. He wonders why his aunt chooses to live like this, always drinking and leaving a mess. He steps outside to investigate and sees that the house is indeed a mess, with the bathtub still filled with water. He recalls cleaning it the day before and wonders if his aunt used it again. He goes to put away her shoes and notices that they're still there, complete with both shoes. He's confused, wondering if she really did go out. Yoon-hae suggests they go to the island, promising it'll be fun, and notices that Hye-seong looks tired lately. He's hesitant, citing exams and lack of time and money, but Yoon-hae offers to connect the water to the sea, allowing him to travel quickly. Hye-seong asks if he'll really be able to go through, and Yoon-hae reassures him. He calls her name and tells her that his aunt hasn't been home in a while, and asks if she has seen her. She says she doesn't think so. She only comes when he calls her. He asks if she can't come out unless he's there. She says yes, she can only come out when he's nearby. He thanks God silently. Someone bangs on the door. He asks who's that and opens the door. The man asks where Kim Mi-young is. Song says he doesn't know. The man asks if he is her son. He replies that he's her nephew. The man asks how long is she going to keep hiding after she stole his money. He's losing his mind. Song tries to lock the door. The man holds the door and says he hasn't finished speaking. Doesn't he have manners? They'll be back on the 28th. He'd better find his aunt before then if he wants to live. He replies that she hasn't been home for a week. The man says they're not some part-timers. Can't he tell that coming in and out of prison is part of their routine? He should prepare his funeral if he's thinking about calling the cops, and he slams the door. He wasn't able to reach his uncle and his aunt didn't return home, and it's the 28th of the month. Kwon Sun-bin asks Song what's the answer for the third question. Can he look at his test paper? He replies and says, messed up. He asks, what's wrong? Did something happen? Does it hurt somewhere? Kwon 7%. Kwon Sun-bin says it's okay to mess up a question or two. His other friend says the girls postponed the visit to Veeps until tomorrow because of him. When the exams are over, they're going to have fun. Song recalls that conversation. Kwon Sun-bin asks how they'll get to the restaurant, and his friend replies that he's already called a cab. He replies and asks what about the others. He says they'll come separately later. Song asks himself if they're insane. They followed him to school. Kwon Sun-bin asks how long the taxi will take. The other friend says about 2 more minutes. One of the thugs tells the boss that he sees the kid. He's the one with the green bag. They walk towards him and asks him if he thought he could hide. The kid turns and asks what. They're surprised. Meanwhile, in the taxi, his friends ask if he's okay. Is he getting motion sickness? The driver tells him he mustn't throw up in the car. Kwon Sun-bin asks what's taking them so long to come. The other friend says they must be late because the girls are busy doing their makeup. He replies and asks Song why he looks so stressed out today. He should tell them if something is up. Song apologizes and says he's fine. He replies and says he's so annoying. His other friend asks if everything is okay at home. He asks Sun-bin to lend him his phone for a moment. He tells himself that he didn't think of it since he was only worried about himself. He calls Gum-hye-bin and asks where she is. She asks if that's him. She's at the snack bar with her friends. He tells her to sleep at her friend's house. She mustn't go home. She asks why. He says she should just listen to what he says. She tells him to hold on and asks her friend if she can stay at her house for the night. Her friend says okay. He goes to her friend's house and apologizes to his mom for bothering her. She says it's all right. He asks her to take care of her. He tells Hye-bin that she must listen to the adults and not cause trouble. He'll return her phone back when she comes to get her tomorrow morning. She tells him not to read her text messages. He says he won't, and he leaves. He thinks to himself that either way, he has no choice. He can't leave the house vacant. He'll call the cops as soon as they arrive. He needs to put an end to this. Hye-seong walks into the house, relieved to find it empty, and quickly grabs some money and necessities. He plans to reactivate his phone, but his moment of respite is short-lived as the leader of the thugs greets him, asking how dare he run away. The thug leader scolds him, and Hye-seong tries to dial 112, but the other thug snatches the phone away, ending the call. The boss taunts Hye-seong, reminding him that he failed to find his aunt by the 28th, and now he must face the consequences. Hye-seong pushes them and runs into the bathroom. The boss asks if he thinks they're a joke to him. He asks himself what he should do, and they both push the door and walk in. The boss says he just wanted to scare him a little. Guess it didn't work. The other thug asks what he should do with him. He replies that they'll lose their dignity if they use the tools they brought on him. They wanted to use them on Kim Mi-young after all. The thug asks if he would prefer him hitting him with a shower head a few times, or does he want them to use the stuff they brought? He should just know that there's some stuff that might scotch him. Song says he'll get hit by the shower head. The thug asks if it's better, isn't it? He shouldn't have run away in the first place. Just as he's about to hit his head, something twists the shower and he's dragged into the tub. He calls the boss to help him. The boss tells him to get up. He's embarrassing them. He replies that something's pulling him in from inside the bathtub. The boss calls him and walks towards the tub, and he's also dragged in. Yoon-hae drowns both of them. Presently, the doctor asks Hye-seong what happened after that, and he explains that the police came and everything was taken care of, thanks to a noisy neighbor who called them. He apologizes, feeling that counseling is pointless, and asks the doctor to prescribe him some medication instead. The receptionist tells him that the medical fee is 1,000 won and asks if she should make his next reservation. He declines, saying no, and leaves the hospital. As he walks away, he recalls a past conversation with Yoon-hae. In the flashback, he's sobbing, asking Yoon-hae what he's supposed to do now since he killed 2 people. Yoon-hae reassures him, saying she was the one who killed them, not him. She explains that nobody will believe him anyway since people don't believe in mermaids, and she hid the bodies deep in the ocean. Hye-seong asks Yoon-hae how she can be so calm, and she responds that those people tormented him, so it's okay to get rid of them. He asks if that's how she justifies her actions, and wonders if she would kill him too if he tormented her. Yoon-hae asks what he's saying, and explains that his existence itself is the cause of her happiness, and nothing would torment her more than his death. Hye-seong feels confused, thinking that he doesn't understand Yoon-hae at all. He asks why she's changed so much, but Yoon-hae counters that he's the one who has changed, citing his different speech and tone from 5 years ago. Hye-seong thinks to himself that he has no idea what to do. People were just killed, and he wants to get out of this situation. A week later, Hye-seong's friends are complaining about how hard things are, with Sunbin joking that someone might think they actually worked hard if they heard them. Hye-seong walks ahead, lost in thought, and his friends notice that something is off. Sunbin asks Hye-seong why he's walking alone, and he apologizes, saying everything is fine. But despite being with his friends, Hye-seong feels like he's all alone in the world. He recalls a past conversation with Yoon-hae, where he told her that he couldn't see her anymore. He explained that he's not the same person he used to be, and that he has new responsibilities as a human. Yoon-hae left after he asked her to find happiness elsewhere. Hye-seong returns home to find his uncle and some strangers in the living room. His uncle tells him to go to his room, but one of the men calls him over. Hye-seong wonders who these people are and realizes they're cops. The officer breaks the news that his aunt has passed away, and Hye-seong is shocked. One of the cops asks if his aunt was married, and the other replies that they weren't. Hye-seong is relieved that they're not there to talk about the gangsters. One of the cops asked Hye-seong if he already knew. Both of them had been living together for a while, and he didn't seem surprised about the news. Song thought to himself that he was crazy. Someone had died, and what was he thinking? He quickly said it wasn't like that. His uncle told him not to talk like that, explaining that she was worse than a parasite, always beating up the kid, and had severe alcohol and shopping addictions, spending all their money in weird places. She even asked the kid to pay her debts. Wouldn't he feel relieved now that his step-aunt was gone? Song wondered why his uncle was defending him. The situation was that his step-aunt was getting chased down by loan sharks because of her debts, and his uncle had cut all contact with her for a few weeks, as he was with another woman. In a flashback, his aunt held a knife and said she would kill everyone. The taxi driver asked her where she wanted to go, and she said Bucheon. He asked what she was doing, holding a knife, and if she was insane. He should call the cops. He left the car, and she followed, saying she would kill everyone. He said she should have left the car sooner. He said he was all wet and tried to dry himself. He asked himself if he should have reported her to the cops. At least now that he wasn't sitting on pins and needles, he was feeling sleepy. He should drink some coffee. Song's aunt jumped on the windshield and he told her to get off. He hit the car on a gate. The taxi driver surrendered, and the police were sent there for an investigation to learn more about why his aunt went out with a knife in her hand. Hye-seong thought to himself that Yoon-hae wasn't the cause of his aunt's death. He said she was someone with severe alcohol addiction and some mental issues. One of the cops thanked his uncle for his cooperation and told him to contact them if anything else happened. His uncle asked him if everything was all right in his absence. Song thought to himself that his uncle was really asking that, and his careless face disgusted him. His uncle said they were done with the investigation and he needed to go back to Bucheon now. If he left now, he would be there by 6 p.m. Song thought to himself that his uncle didn't even care about him, but without him, he was just a homeless teenager. He opened the book and started reading. His younger self appeared to him. His younger self said they should be honest. He was afraid of being a murderer, wasn't he? Was he feeling guilty for acting as a bystander to a murder, but he didn't care about their lives, did he? Why was he peacefully studying after sending Yoon-hae away? He was scared, right? He was scared that Yoon-hae might have left a body behind. Song closed the book. He thought to himself that it couldn't happen. He could just go in again, just like when he first came to Seoul for the first time. Hae-bin gave him the phone and said Grandma Malsuk called. He talked to his grandma, then said he couldn't hear properly in the room and walked outside. He walked outside and asked her what she was saying. Hye-seong asks himself what his mom is doing, and meanwhile his mom is telling Hae-bin that one cotton swab won't be enough for her. Hae-bin runs to get another swab, and Hye-seong wonders what if a stepdad appears, as he can only imagine his real dad. He walks back and asks Hae-bin where their mom went, but Hae-bin corrects him, saying they don't have a mom. Hye-seong clarifies that he's not talking about their dad, and Hae-bin tells him to hurry up and look for their mom. They walk to a sea bank, and Hye-seong sees his mom's boat, realizing she went to get food for them. He tells Hae-bin that they do have a mom, but Hae-bin warns him that even if he searches everywhere, he won't find her. Hye-seong runs towards the boat, hearing his mom's voice, but when he boards the boat, he finds seagulls eating a body. Hye-seong wakes up from this nightmare. In reality, Hye-seong's mom is in a coma, showing no signs of improvement. He asks for a picture and apologizes, saying he wanted to rank first in school to repay her. He's been preparing himself for that goal for years, especially after his dad passed away, leaving only his mom on his side. He tells her not to be lonely and to be happy with his dad in a place far away from any seas. Hye-seong's uncle asks his friends how they got there, and Sunbin explains that they took the KTX and then a bus from Jeonju Station. The uncle comments that they traveled far, skipping school to attend the funeral. Sunbin thinks to himself that the uncle is really something, saying nonsense about Hye-seong's mom. Hye-seong asks when the train will arrive, and his friend replies, also asking if his uncle always acts like that. Hye-seong explains that his uncle has a drinking problem and told them not to come. His friends offer words of comfort, and Sunbin calls Hye-seong, telling him to get a hold of himself, as his sister needs him. Hye-seong starts crying, and his friends try to console him. Later, Hye-seong tells Hae-bin that she has someone by her side, and they share a moment, remembering their past and their efforts to adapt to a new city. He asks if her dialect emerges again while talking with the people. He asks if she can still recall practicing the Seoul dialect all night on their first arrival there. She asks if he still hasn't forgotten his dialects even after all these years. He tells her not to look down on him, and they laugh. He says he'll only be sad until the end of the funeral, thinking that their mom would be sad seeing them mourn all the time. He vows to grow up and share both their mom's and dad's duties. He asks if she'll always be by his side, right? She says as long as he doesn't do anything wrong. He asks her to give him an example of something bad, and she says, murder. Hye-seong recalls this conversation, lost in thought. Thanks for tuning in. If you're hooked and want more, please comment and subscribe. Your comments and subscriptions fuel my motivation to continue. I'll see you in the next part.